Today, we're diving straight into demystifying one of Python's absolute coolest, yet most frequently misunderstood features. We are talking about decorators. Let's be totally honest for a second. The first time you see that little @ symbol just sitting there above a function, you probably think it's a typo, right? Or maybe you think somebody accidentally tried to tag an email address in the middle of a script. But if you've ever wondered how that single tiny symbol could suddenly supercharge a regular function with entirely new capabilities, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the whole architecture of wrappers and function manipulation and turn what looks like literal magic into pure understandable logic. Now, you might be wondering, why do we even need these things? Let's start with a highly relatable developer problem. Picture this. You've written a beautiful, perfectly functioning piece of core business logic. It does exactly what it needs to do, no more, no less. But now your boss says you need to add cross-cutting features to it, things like performance logging, authorization checks, or caching. So how do you safely attach these new features without completely wrecking your original function's internal code? If you just copy and paste the same logging logic inside every single function, you're massively violating the DRY principle. Don't repeat yourself. You risk cluttering up your beautifully clean code and, worse, breaking things that already work flawlessly. Okay, let's dive into this and break down the wrapper concept. Think of your original function as a simple blue gear. It has one job, and it does that core task perfectly. A decorator is essentially a wrapper. It's like a protective golden shell. It allows you to take that original blue gear and safely enclose it inside the shell. So what's the result? You get a wrapped function. It still does its core job on the inside, but now it has all these new features, new checks, and new modifications bolted on to the outside, while the internal gear remains completely 100% untouched. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the golden rules of functions. Then we'll move on to building our first decorator. After that, we'll look at the @ symbol and passing arguments, explore some real-world decorator usage, and finally, wrap up with the professional touch using functools.wraps. All right, section 1, the golden rules of functions. Let's set the foundation. Before we can pull off any coding magic, we have to quickly review the basic laws of physics in Python. In Python, functions are what we call first-class citizens. And that basically boils down to 3 foundational rules. Number 1, functions can be assigned to variables. Number 2, functions can be passed as arguments right into other functions. And number 3, functions can be nested, meaning they can actually live inside other functions. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that looks like in code. First, see how we can assign a function called greet to a brand new variable just by saying hello equals greet? Notice there are no parentheses there. Second, we can take that greet function and pass it directly into another function, like runfunc, just like it's a normal, everyday argument. And third, check out how we can define an inner function entirely inside the block of an outer function. This nesting is absolutely crucial because it allows the inner function to access variables from the outer function's scope. This specific ability to pass functions around like variables and nest them inside one another is the exact mechanical foundation that makes decorators even possible.
Moving right along to section 2, building our first decorator.
Now, we are going to build one of these manually, from scratch. I want to slow down our pacing significantly here so we can methodically walk through this execution flow line by line. I really want you to see how the gears turn under the hood. First, we define the outer function, def, decorator maker, original func. It takes your core function as an argument. Then, we create the inner shell dynamically inside it, def wrapper. Inside this wrapper, we build out our execution sequence. We add our new features first, like printing before the function. Then, and pay attention, because this is the crucial step, we execute the original function safely in the middle. Finally, we print after the function. The very last step of the outer function is to return wrapper. We are returning the unexecuted shell itself, which will dynamically replace your original function. Boom, you just built a golden shell from scratch. Okay, section 3, the @ symbol and passing arguments. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between the manual way and the true Pythonic way to apply these wrappers. The manual way, on the left, forces us to do this really awkward reassignment. Decorated text equals decorator maker, plain text. We literally have to explicitly pass the old function into the maker to get the new one. Kind of clunky, right? But the Pythonic way gives us this elegant shortcut. We just drop the @decorator maker symbol directly above our fancy text definition. This @ symbol simply whispers to Python behind the scenes, hey, take the function directly below this symbol, pass it into the decorator above, and reassign it for me automatically. It executes the exact same underlying logic, but it is vastly cleaner and more readable. But hold on, what happens if our core function actually needs parameters? Say we are decorating an add a, b function that expects the numbers 10 and 20. Our golden wrapper is sitting on the outside. It has to somehow dynamically catch those arguments and pass them through to the inside. So, in our wrapper logic, we accept star args and star cargs. Then, we literally hand them straight through to the original execution logic using FNC star args star cargs. It acts exactly like a universal catcher's mitt. No matter how many positional or keyword arguments your core function throws at it, the wrapper will catch them, piece the shell, and deliver them perfectly safely to the inside. Let's shift gears and look at Section 4, Real-World Decorator Usage. Let's see how all of this builds into something incredibly practical, like a performance profiler. If you want to measure exactly how long a function takes to execute, you absolutely do not want to clutter your actual business logic with messy timestamp variables. To measure execution time cleanly, our wrapper first grabs the starting timestamp using start equals time.time. Then it runs the core function. Once it finishes, it prints the exact execution duration simply by subtracting the start time from the current time. By abstracting this logic into a decorator, you can slap @measureTime on literally any function in your entire codebase and instantly get precise performance logs without altering a single line of your actual core tasks. That is a game changer. And decorators aren't just for logging either. They are absolutely perfect for security. Consider an authorization gatekeeper. Here, our wrapper intercepts the application's user status variable. Before the core function is ever even exposed, the wrapper executes a check. If user status equals admin. If you aren't an admin, it immediately returns an error string and aborts the process entirely. The security gates slam shut. But if you are an admin, the gates swing open smoothly, and the core function executes normally. Your core logic never has to worry about implementing its own security checks ever again. Finally, Section 5, the professional touch with functools.wraps. So here is the crucial point you need to remember. When you wrap a function like we've been doing, you accidentally give it a massive identity crisis. Because you completely replaced your original function with the wrapper shell, Python literally erases the original function's true name and docstring. If you try to look up its metadata later, it will just unhelpfully say wrapper. Not great. To fix this, Python provides a built-in utility called wraps. We import wraps from functools, and we simply put @wraps FNC right above our inner wrapper definition. Notice how this acts like an ID card transfer. It copies the original metadata directly over to the new shell, ensuring your function keeps its proper name and documentation totally intact. Always, always use this in your production code. All right, let's wrap this whole thing up. Today, we've seen how decorators prevent code duplication, how they perfectly separate cross-cutting side tasks from your main business logic, and how to protect your function's metadata like a pro. Now it's time for a challenge. I want you to open up your editor and try writing an @addStars decorator. The goal is simple. When applied to a basic print function, it should print 10 asterisks immediately before and immediately after the function's output. Think about the wrapper shell we built today to help you solve it. Before we go, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If decorators allow you to invisibly intercept, measure, and modify absolutely anything passing through your code, what other invisible systems could you build to automate the most tedious parts of your daily programming? Keep experimenting, keep wrapping, and we'll see you on the next explainer.